One last question. So, how do companies get started with big data? They've heard about it. They see a lot of possibilities. I mean, what would be a few first steps? Or what would be a first step to get started with big data? Judith, your take on that?
So I think that you start by thinking about what are the problems that you might be able to get insights or to take actions if all the data that was out there was available to you. So I think is first to take a step back and say, what would we apply this type of approach to? And if you can figure out some ideas, for example, the biotech industry has been using big data for decades to try, in the area of drug discovery.
Mhm.
What they used to have to do was to take snapshots. I'll take some data every 5 minutes, and that will give me a full picture of all these genes and what drug might be, what enzymes or what drugs or molecules might be available to solve some terrible problem. So if they had the opportunity to grab much more data and then analyze it much faster, what would be the potential outcome? So it's almost starting with outcomes.
Hmm.
And once you get to outcomes, then backing up and said, okay, what technology is out there that I could apply to problems? So starting more with problems. At the same time, you're not going to get to a solution unless you get some training and education and understand what it is. So it's got to be both understanding technology and understanding what's possible.
Marcia, we're talking about getting started. If a company has heard the buzzword, they want to get on board, what would be something they need to keep in mind as they get started?
I think what they need to keep in mind is that there's many possibilities, but let's pick. It's important to pick a problem that is sort of will resonate with a significant number of people in either their division or in the company, where they can get some results quickly. But before I got cut off, I was thinking about some of the incredible examples I've heard of in terms of environmental uses for big data, and so I would also say getting started is by thinking differently, thinking about challenge, asking questions that you haven't been able to ask before. And there are examples of cities and towns with who are looking at water and streams and lakes and being able to identify temperature and look at this streaming data that gives an indication of sort of the quality of the water, and then be able to use that to perhaps predict the severity of storms that are coming up. So it's taking the opportunity to think about what questions, new questions, look at your problems in a new way.
Fern, getting started, what advice would you give to a company on that?
Well, I'll echo what Marcia and Judah said. You're sort of starting with the end in mind, right? Someone once said that. You need to know what your goal is, find a problem that's solvable, but it's big, and apply that. Interestingly, that's one of the biggest, when I talk to companies and survey them, that's one of the biggest problems is actually identifying the problem that you can solve with big data. Company, depending on who you are and, where the where the idea incubates, people have trouble with that, actually coming up with a problem that's worth solving, with big data. But, I think part of that is, where they're located in the organization and what business issues or, they see and that sort of thing. So even just having a general idea of, I need to increase revenue by this, I need to decrease my costs, or I have a problem in this part of my organization, that's a good place to start. And then you articulate it from there.
Mm-hmm. The three of you, I thank you very much for talking with us. And the book, again, I love this. This is Big Data for Dummies. Three of you are the co-authors. Thanks for talking with us today. And I'll send the three of you a link, and we can all promote it together. And thanks a lot.
Sure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Great being here.